Hello and welcome to Elden Ring, a world of fantastical adventure. For those of you who have not played the excellent game that is Elden Ring, the game begins with a cutscene that rivals some of the highest revered cinematic masterpieces. I never knew I could feel so many different emotions in such a short 3-minute cutscene. The hope, anger, frustration, excitement, and awe-inspiring graphics had me on the edge of my seat. A tarnished rises, one of no renown, who has, by some miracle, been given a second chance, called by Queen Marika the Eternal, to return to grace and become Elden Lord. Here is a portion of that introduction.
Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask, Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Othniel, the all-knowing.
With that, I set out from the precipice of anticipation and began the long journey of my first playthrough. Feel free to use the timestamps if there's a specific aspect of the game you all want to hear my thoughts on. So now I beckon thee to join, to part the fog, and to discover the deep mysteries held in the lands between. When I first heard that George R.R. Martin was helping Miyazaki write a storyline for Elden Ring, I couldn't believe it. One of my favorite authors writing the backstory for a video game developer that I adore. It was a hunter's dream come true. Martin's ability to build suspense and create an entire universe with everything accounted for is mind-boggling, and he did not disappoint. Intricate character arcs can be found in every facet of the game, the obsession with political standing, the zealous ideals of religion, and ultimately the fatal temptation of seeking greater power. Miyazaki weaves a mythical tale of flawed heroes that many times made me question the various aspects in the real world and how commonplace it is for men to become monsters. The Shattering, an event of great turmoil, is responsible for many of the conflicts present in Elden Ring. Characters possess the ability to forego order, to obtain peace, or the self-righteous desire to embody the greater will. As long as they achieve their goal, they will not let anyone or anything stop them along the way. Perception, perspective, and the persuasion of all the other people in Elden Ring play a part in how you, as a player, interpret who is objectively good, bad, or just stumbling through life. Every encounter has meaning and builds the history and lore within the lands between. Each unique area on the map has distinct features that should not go unnoticed, from the decaying wasteland of Caelid, the simplicity of Limgrave and its inhabitants, the complexity of Lemuria of the Lakes, and the ancient consecrated snowfields. Miyazaki and Martin alike created a masterpiece that took the gaming community by storm. It shows what is possible when the mind is truly left to wonder. Throughout the game, as I discovered more of the world and peeled back the individual layers of dialogue, item description, and encounters, I found myself entranced by each new piece of information that was gleaned, and it only reinforced my curiosity to learn more. This leads us to a vital element of the game, the graphics, visual effects, and art style, which are truly breathtaking. Now, I want you to close your eyes and imagine the most memorable gaming moment you can think of. What stands out? Oftentimes, the brain remembers a shocking or stunning moment that's filled with a myriad of impressions and emotions. Personally, I was at a loss for words when I made my way to the Siofra River. The hues of purple, blue, and green created a landscape I could never have fathomed. An underground starry sky full of dancing constellations, the Lord of Blood's domain in the distance, and a forgotten path to Nokron, the Eternal City. The graphics and visual effects found in Elden Ring could fill a museum. I mean, endless frames of poetic scenery can be found all throughout Elden Ring. Every time I thought, now this is the greatest place for a screenshot, and every single time my expectations were met and the game exceeded it nearly every time. The art style chosen for Elden Ring pulses with magic, fantasy, and a feeling of wonder. I was transported to a new realm with each new discovery. Atop the grand lift of Dectus, you find yourself rising to the Atul's Plateau, looking beyond, down toward Limgrave and Lemuria, and all the obstacles you have been able to overcome along the way. It is unforgettable. Accompanying the fantastic scenery is a harmonic soundtrack that displays unrivaled continuity. A symphonic melody filled with uncertainty plays on the menu screen. Its dramatic drum beats, the blaring brass section, and a chorus of strings creates a memorable experience. Chills run down your spine as you create your character and prepare for an unexpected journey. The music, while it does not come close to that of Bloodborne, it does make all the difference when exploring new places, entering a new boss fight, and traveling throughout the lands between. Music plays an integral part in the story as well. Incantations bellowed by followers of the Golden Order, a forlorn tune played by the wandering merchants, and chants sung by the Raya Lucarian sorcerers. The majority of the main bosses have unique themes, and they are some of my favorites in the game, and these include Melania, Blade of Mikula, the Star Scourge Radahn, Renalia, Queen of the Full Moon, and the final battle. Some of these tracks are so inspiring combined with every other aspect of the game. It's just amazing what they were able to do. Fighting various bosses with an exhilarating melody, building and building and building until you are finally able to vanquish the opponent and you receive the message, Legend Felled. That moment, as the music swells and you are down to your final flask of crimson tears, and the boss is just a few swings away from death, you see an opening, and you take advantage of the narrow opportunity to finish the fight. Everything is executed perfectly as your enemy falls to the ground. Nothing can replace that feeling. Nothing. Speaking of fighting, this game nails it. Elden Ring takes the best parts of all of FromSoftware's other titles and optimizes the combat. While there will always exist some way to manipulate what is available, Cerulean Hidden Tear and Azure's Comet, it's all fairly balanced, and with many different playstyles available, there is something for everyone. Great sword and shield, you got it. Rapier and staff, you say? Check. Katana, longbow, got that too. Power stance and daggers, sure thing. Or how about a lightning spear and a finger seal? Why not? My point is that there's a lot of options that can lead to success. And don't forget to customize your Ashes of War. Oh, and guess what? Magic is actually kind of good. There are two types of magic in Elden Ring, those being sorceries and incantations. The former relies primarily on intelligence and latter on faith. There's also a way to respec your character about a third of the way through the game if a change of pace is necessary or you want to try something new. If you want an easier boss fight, try using your summons. If you can't seem to find a break to heal or get some nice damage in, they are a great tool the game gives you to use, and I did not shy away from it, especially since my build was focused on high damage through sorceries, many of which took a few seconds too many before I proceeded to get obliterated by the boss. There is a very special summon later on in the game that, by accident, was able to solo a couple of bosses, which I may have been slightly over-leveled for. Regardless, after you defeat Star Scourge Radahn, make your way to the ancient city of Nokron, and you should be able to find it. But that's besides the point. The real meat of the game comes from the epic boss fights. That rush of dopamine and adrenaline you are hit with when you finally overcome a boss that you have faced 20 plus times is spectacular, and there's nothing quite like it. Regardless of the frustration at times, Elden Ring masterfully forges the ultimate boss fighting experience. Now, that's not to say the game is easy, because it's not. Elden Ring is a challenging game, and there's no doubt about that. Just ask about Melania and her waterfowl dance, and I'm sure you'll receive some insight into just how easy the game is. Death is part of the game, and dying was oftentimes my best friend, as much as I hate to admit it, because death was typically caused by my own stupid mistakes. And so, I learned the different movesets, counters, and weaknesses of my enemies, which made the game that much easier and that much more fun. It's no easy task to beat Elden Ring. I put countless of hours into my first playthrough, honing my skill, learning the combat mechanics, and just seeing what worked. Each unique boss is different, not including the 60 some odd field and catacomb bosses. Those have their own issues. I learned something new with each boss fight. Some I was able to take down first try. Others, I died countless times too. Looking at you, Melania. Actually though, I died to the final boss many more times than I ever did to Melania. She just has a fun mechanic to work with. I'm sure you'll get the hang of it though. You know how they say to pick the right tool for the job? Well, picking the right weapons and armor can make a world's difference. Just make sure it doesn't play to the boss's strengths. Just thinking about how many swords, axes, hammers, daggers, shields, and spears and bows are in my inventory gives me a headache. Although that is probably due to my obsession with completion. And so begins the multitude of side quests, tasks, and errands. Most, if not all, reward you for your efforts, usually by receiving a powerful incantation, sorcery, weapon, or upgrade material. And it is definitely worth your time to do as many of them as you can tolerate. I sure don't regret it. And be sure to keep up with Ronnie's quest. A certain moonlight blade is the ultimate gift, among some other benefits. Over the course of several months through spring semester, I made my way through Elden Ring, and you know, the game to this day never ceases to amaze me. I continue to make new discoveries, which makes it that much more exciting in my other playthroughs. From Software has truly made something special. Hopefully the buzz around Elden Ring will generate more widespread interest in the genre and all of Miyazaki's Poison Swamps. Elden Ring is the culmination of years of refining a compelling story, high difficulty, exhilarating combat, and all the other elements that create a gaming masterpiece. It will likely become a cornerstone in modern gaming, second to none. Be on the lookout for more of these videos, and let me know if there's a game you'd like me to review. The next one in this series is my personal favorite of all time. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Peace.